He was the greatest golfer the world has ever seen, and now, one single court ruling could end everything he has left. If you think you already know what happened to Tiger Woods this year, you are wrong, because what just happened inside a Florida courtroom is about to change the entire direction of his life, and by the end of this video, you will understand why golf insiders are calling this the most dangerous legal moment of his entire career. Before we go any further, if you love real, uncut, no-filter sports drama like this, hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel exists for one reason only, to bring you the truth behind the headlines before anyone else does, and trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming in the next few weeks, because this story is far from over. Now let's get into it, because 15 seconds from now, you are going to hear something about Tiger Woods that most fans still do not know, something that his own legal team never expected, something that could put him behind bars, and something that started with 2 small white pills found in his pocket on the side of a Florida highway. It was a normal evening on Jupiter Island, Florida, on March 27th, when the life of one of the greatest athletes in history was about to change forever. Tiger Woods, 50 years old, 5-time Masters champion, a man who redefined an entire sport, was behind the wheel of his car when he tried to pass a slow-moving truck ahead of him. He misjudged the speed. His car clipped the back of the truck. In seconds, the vehicle flipped, rolled, and came to a stop, twisted and destroyed on the side of the road. For a moment, the golf world held its breath, because the last time Tiger Woods was involved in a serious car crash, back in 2021, he almost lost his leg, and almost lost his life. But this time, it was different. This time, when police arrived on the scene, they were not just looking at a crash. They were looking at a crime scene. Officers who reached Woods said he was showing clear signs of impairment. His movements were slow. His speech was described as sluggish. He was reportedly limping and stumbling as he tried to walk in a straight line during the roadside sobriety test. When asked what happened, Woods told the officers he had been taking medication for the chronic pain in his back and legs, pain that has followed him since his very first back surgery, pain that has followed him through 7 different operations, the most recent one being a lumbar disc replacement just months before this crash. He blew a 0 on the breathalyzer test. No alcohol in his system. For a second, it looked like this might just be a medical episode, a tired driver, an unfortunate accident. But then police searched him, and in his pocket they found 2 small white pills. Lab testing would later confirm what those pills were: hydrocodone, a powerful and highly addictive opioid painkiller. And then came the moment that changed everything. When officers asked Tiger Woods to provide a urine sample as part of the investigation, he refused. That single refusal is what turned a private medical struggle into a very public legal nightmare. Tiger Woods was arrested that night on suspicion of driving under the influence. He was taken into custody, processed, and eventually released on bond. Within days, he issued a public statement, saying he understood the seriousness of what he was facing, and that he intended to leave the United States for treatment. Shortly after, with the judge's permission, Woods flew to Switzerland and checked into an inpatient rehabilitation facility, stepping away from the media storm building back home. But while Tiger Woods was thousands of miles away trying to heal, back in Florida, the legal machine was only just getting started. This is the part of the story most casual fans never followed closely, but it is the part that could decide the rest of Tiger Woods' life. Prosecutors in Martin County did not just want the police report. They wanted proof. They wanted to know exactly what was in his system, how long he had been taking these medications, and whether this was a one-time lapse or something much bigger. So they went after his medical history. In May, prosecutors filed a request to subpoena Woods' prescription records from a Palm Beach pharmacy he had used for months. This was not a small ask. They wanted every detail: how many prescriptions were filled, how many pills were given, and the exact dates, stretching from January 1st all the way to the day of the crash. Woods' legal team fought back immediately. His attorney argued that these were deeply private medical records, protected by a constitutional right to privacy, and that handing them over set a dangerous precedent. But the prosecution pushed harder, and in a hearing that reportedly lasted only 4 minutes, Martin County Circuit Court Judge Darren Steele ruled against Woods. His prescription records would be released. It was fast. It was decisive. And it was the first sign that this case was not going to quietly disappear. For a golfer whose entire public image was built on control, discipline, and precision, this ruling meant something far more personal. His private battle with pain, medication, and recovery was no longer his own. It now belonged to a courtroom. But that was only round 1. Just weeks later, in June, the story took an even sharper turn. Prosecutors returned to court, this time asking for something even more sensitive: Tiger Woods' hospital records from the night of the crash. After the rollover, Woods had been taken to Cleveland Clinic Martin South Hospital for medical clearance before being transferred to the Martin County Jail. Inside those hospital records could be crucial details, statements he may have made about drug or alcohol use, results of any medical drug screening performed that night, and notes from the medical staff who treated him. This was the deepest possible look into what really happened inside that hospital room. And once again, Wood's legal team initially resisted. But this time, something changed. Instead of a prolonged fight, both sides reportedly reached an agreement, and on June 23, Judge Darren Steele approved the release of those hospital records as well, with a protective order limiting access strictly to prosecutors, law enforcement, expert witnesses, and the defense team. Think about what this means. Twice now, in a matter of weeks, a judge has sided with prosecutors, granting them access to Tiger Woods' most private medical information. Not once, but twice. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern, and legal experts following the case say patterns like this usually do not favor the defendant. So why does this actually matter? Why should you care about a few pieces of paper being handed from a hospital to a courtroom? Because those documents could contain the exact evidence needed to prove, beyond doubt, whether Tiger Woods was impaired behind the wheel that night. If those hospital records show any statement from Woods admitting to drug use around the time of the crash, or if toxicology results reveal impairment levels beyond what a simple prescription would explain, this case stops being about privacy. It becomes about consequences. And this is where things get even more serious, because this is not Tiger Woods' first time in this exact situation. Back in 2017, Woods was arrested for driving under the influence after police found him asleep at the wheel of his car, parked awkwardly on the side of a road, engine running. That time, he later revealed it was caused by an unexpected reaction to prescribed medications for pain and sleep. He took a plea deal, avoided major punishment, and the golf world largely moved on, sympathetic to a man clearly struggling with the physical toll of a career built on pushing his body to the limit. But now, almost a decade later, here we are again. Another crash. Another refusal to cooperate with testing. Another set of pills in his pocket. And this time, the courts are not moving quietly. This time, prosecutors are building a case piece by piece, record by record, ruling by ruling. Legal analysts following the case say that while jail time remains unlikely for a first officially charged DUI offense like this, it is not impossible, especially if the newly obtained hospital and prescription records reveal something prosecutors can use to argue a pattern of repeated impairment. And that possibility, however small, is reportedly weighing heavily on Woods. Sources close to him have described him as dealing with intense anxiety over the case, saying that even as he tries to focus on his sobriety and his health, the constant legal back and forth keeps pulling him back into the spotlight he was trying to escape. Every court date, every new subpoena, every ruling. It becomes another wave crashing over a man who was already trying to survive one of the hardest chapters of his life. And if all of this wasn't enough on its own, Tiger Woods has been carrying an entirely different kind of weight at the exact same time. While Woods was fighting this legal battle, his girlfriend, Vanessa Trump, was diagnosed with breast cancer. In the middle of court hearings, subpoenas, and rulings against him, Woods was also trying to be there for the woman he loves as she underwent surgery and began treatment. Vanessa herself spoke publicly about beginning the next stage of her recovery, thanking those supporting her through what she called a fight for healing and strength. So picture this for a moment. A man in his 50s, still recovering physically from a serious car accident and years of back surgeries, sitting in a Swiss treatment facility trying to get sober, while back home in Florida a legal case is quietly building against him, and at the same time, the woman he loves is fighting cancer. That is not just a legal story. That is one of the heaviest personal storms one person could be asked to walk through at the same time. Yet somehow, in the middle of all of this, Tiger Woods still returned to the public eye. In late June, Woods made his first public appearance since the arrest, appearing at the PGA Tour's Travelers Championship, not as a competitor, but in a completely different role. As chair of the tour's future competition committee, Woods stood in front of cameras to help introduce a major restructuring of professional golf, a new two-tier system set to launch in 2028. Featuring a top-level championship series and a secondary challenger series designed to reshape how golfers earn their place among the elite. Think about the timing of that moment. A man legally fighting a DUI case, whose medical records are being handed over to prosecutors piece by piece, stepping in front of the entire golf world to help shape the sport's future. It shows you exactly who Tiger Woods still is in the eyes of the golf establishment, someone whose voice still matters, even while his personal life is under a legal microscope. But make no mistake, this appearance does not mean the danger has passed. If anything, it makes the contrast even sharper. In public, Tiger Woods is still the man shaping the future of golf. In private, behind courtroom doors in Martin County, he is a defendant whose privacy keeps getting stripped away, one ruling at a time. So where does this leave things right now? The next major milestone in this case was originally scheduled for July 7th, but it has since been pushed back to a status hearing on August 4th. That delay alone tells you something. Cases do not get pushed back for no reason. Sometimes it means both sides need more time to review the newly obtained records. Sometimes it means negotiations are happening behind the scenes. And sometimes it means prosecutors are building something bigger before their next move. Some legal commentators following the case have even suggested that with the pace of these subpoenas and rulings, this case could realistically stretch well into next year before any final resolution is reached. That means for months, possibly longer, Tiger Woods will be living under the shadow of this case, unable to fully close this chapter of his life, unable to know for certain what the final outcome will be. And here is the real question hanging over all of it. What happens if those hospital records reveal something prosecutors were hoping to find? What happens if there is a statement, a test result, anything inside those documents that strengthens the case against him? Does golf's greatest legend end up facing consequences far more serious than anyone expected? Or does this quietly fade the way it did back in 2017, with a plea deal, a public apology, and a slow return to normal life? Right now, nobody outside that courtroom knows for sure. Not the fans. Not the media. Maybe not even Tiger Woods himself. What we do know is this. Twice now, a judge has ruled against him. Twice now, deeply private medical information has been handed over to prosecutors. And the man at the center of it all is trying to rebuild his sobriety, support the woman he loves through her own battle, and somehow still show up for the sport that made him a legend, all while one court date after another threatens to define the next chapter of his legacy. This story is not finished. Not even close. And when that August hearing happens, and when the next twist inevitably comes, because with this case, there always seems to be another twist, you are going to want to be here to see it unfold in real time. So if this video kept you hooked until the very end, do not scroll away yet. Tap that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop a comment below telling me what you think really happened inside that hospital room, because this channel is going to be tracking every single update in this case as it happens, and trust me, based on everything we have seen so far, the biggest twist in Tiger Woods' legal battle has not happened yet.